What if I revealed to you that queens, empresses, and royal mistresses were, unbeknownst to the world, suffering from a gruesome and debilitating affliction that was gnawing away at their very essence? Behind their majestic crowns and opulent velvet gowns lay a sinister secret, a disease so shameful that it was buried beneath layers of silence for centuries. The women afflicted by this illness were marginalized, silenced, and ultimately forgotten by history. But today, we will shed light on one of history's most damning secrets, unveiling a narrative woven with power, disease, and denial. We will explore the lives of four remarkable women, all influential, connected, and celebrated, who were ultimately devastated by syphilis, an insidious disease that not only eroded their physical health but also dismantled dynasties, obliterated legacies, and inflicted invisible scars upon the annals of time. Let us journey back to 1499, where we meet Maria Salviati. Born into the illustrious Medici family, one of the most powerful and wealthy families of the Italian Renaissance, Maria lived a life surrounded by art, culture, and political grandeur. At a young age, she was married to her cousin, Ludovico de' Medici, a military leader renowned for his ferocious campaigns, but lacking in romantic allure. However, alongside his battlefield triumphs, Ludovico unwittingly brought home an unseen menace: syphilis. This disease was rapidly spreading across Europe, transmitted among soldiers, courtesans, and unsuspecting wives alike. It is believed that Ludovico fell victim to this affliction during wartime and, shortly after their marriage, passed it on to Maria. Initially, the symptoms were subtle: persistent headaches, chronic fatigue, and the emergence of ulcers, painful and disfiguring reminders of the disease's onset. Upon Ludovico's untimely death, Maria did not seek another husband. Instead, she withdrew from public life, cloaking herself in the unassuming attire of a nun. Yet, her seclusion was not merely a sign of mourning, it was a means of concealment. Beneath her robes, her body deteriorated as the disease advanced. Refusing to succumb in silence, Maria turned to the wisdom of medicine, delving into ancient texts, rediscovering herbal remedies, and crafting her own treatments to alleviate her suffering. Her obsession became twofold. Not only did she strive to heal herself, but she also dedicated herself to securing a prosperous future for her sole son, Cosimo I. Under her guidance, Cosimo ascended to become the Grand Duke of Tuscany, one of Italy's most powerful rulers. Maria, however, would not live to witness his full reign, passing away at the young age of 44. Centuries later, when archaeologists uncovered her remains, they discovered a chilling testament to her struggle: lesions etched into her skull, physical evidence of tertiary syphilis, the cruel final stage of a disease that corroded her brain and bones, reminding us that she bore the weight of the Medici legacy while battling a devastating affliction. Fast forward to the illustrious court of the Holy Roman Empire in the 17th century, where we find Wilhelmina Amalia of Brunswick-Lüneburg, a princess groomed for the throne. Even before her marriage to the heir of Joseph II, she was subjected to a degrading fertility examination, as a woman's value was ultimately measured by her ability to bear a male heir. The marriage proceeded successfully, yet Joseph I was far from a loyal husband. A notorious womanizer, he flitted from mistress to mistress, and after one encounter with a gardener's daughter, he returned home carrying the silent predator, syphilis. Soon, Wilhelmina began to experience symptoms, but instead of questioning her husband's fidelity, she internalized the blame, attributing her illness to her imagined spiritual impurities. She sought solace in prayer rather than medical help, desperately begging God for healing, for a child, for a promising future. But the infection wreaked havoc within her body, leading to the destruction of her fallopian tubes and making conception impossible. Thus, the cycle of dynastic pressure shifted to Joseph's younger brother, who would father Maria Theresa. Wilhelmina endured, but not as a figure of triumph. She became a symbol of disappointment. A woman silently suffering a disease she believed was her own failing, while the true source of her tragedy lay in her husband's betrayal. Leaving behind the grandeur of palaces, we venture into the smoky taverns and candlelit brothels of 18th-century London, where we encounter Sally Salisbury, born Sarah Pridden. As one of the most renowned courtesans of her era, she transcended mere prostitution to become a celebrated entertainer at Mother Wise's exclusive brothel, attracting the attention of powerful men, including the future King George II. Sally was known for her fiery temperament and razor-sharp wit, standing her ground in a world that sought to demean her. However, in 1722, her fiery spirit erupted into violence when, in a moment of rage, she stabbed a noble client, John Finch. Arrested, tried, and sentenced to Newgate Prison, known for its filth and despair, Sally's fate was further darkened by the fact that she had already succumbed to syphilis prior to her imprisonment. In the disease-ridden confines of the prison, her condition rapidly deteriorated, even as wealthy patrons continued to visit her. The syphilis spread to her brain and nervous system, resulting in what was termed brain fever. At just 33 years old, Sally met an untimely end, her death masked in disgrace. Painted not as a tragic consequence of a society that exploited her, but as punishment for her supposed recklessness. We cannot overlook the tumultuous reign of Henry VIII, whose wives, Catherine of Aragon, Anne Boleyn, Jane Seymour, all endured miscarriages and stillbirths. Speculation surrounds Henry himself, who later displayed signs such as leg ulcers, potential neurological changes, and personality shifts, prompting theories that he may have suffered from syphilis. If this were true, he could have unintentionally infected his wives, leading to their reproductive complications, a debate that remains unresolved to this day. While Henry's symptoms align with tertiary syphilis, they could equally represent other medical conditions, such as diabetes or chronic injuries, leaving historians awash in uncertainty. Yet, regardless of the medical truth, the toll of illness on these women's lives persists. Finally, we must illuminate the life of Lola Montes, a name that sent shockwaves through thrones across Europe. Born Eliza Rosanna Gilbert in 1821 in Ireland, she reinvented herself as a captivating Spanish dancer, captivating audiences across nations and scandalizing society at every turn. Her most notable conquest was King Ludwig I of Bavaria, whose obsession with Lola led to his bestowing upon her the title Countess of Landsfeld and elevating her to the status of political confidant. Lola wielded significant influence, causing political upheaval that ultimately coerced Ludwig into abdicating his throne. Yet, power is transient, and scandal often lingers. Lola traversed continents, marrying multiple times and leaving a trail of controversy in her wake. However, by her late 30s, her health rapidly deteriorated, revealing unmistakable signs of tertiary syphilis. Once a woman of remarkable beauty that captured hearts, her body began to tremble, her memory faded, and her strength waned. Ultimately, she died in New York at the young age of 39. Destitute, sick, and forgotten by the world that once revered her. So, what binds these extraordinary women together? They were powerful, they were resilient, but they were also victims of a disease that society shunned. Syphilis emerged not merely as a medical condition, but as a social death sentence, a silent epidemic that ruined lives while the world turned a blind eye. While men spread the disease with impunity, it was women, whether noble, royal, or infamous, who bore the heaviest burden. Maria, Wilhelmina, Sally, and Lola suffered in silence, their stories relegated to the shadows of history, blamed, hidden, and, in some instances, entirely erased. Yet, the truth, embedded in their bones, their letters, their legacies, endures. Now, this knowledge is yours to hold. If this exploration into history's darkest truths resonated with you, please Please like this video and subscribe for more revelations long concealed. Which of these stories impacted you the most? We invite your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and always question the narratives presented to you.